Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed and now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome in to the 105th episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. Welcome back. And welcome for the first time to Loki's Losers. I am Colton Robertson, joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What it do? Hopefully the mischievous of them all coming at you right now. It's Joe George. You know who it is.
Hello. I like that you introduce yourself every time like a YouTuber. We've also got Miles motherfucking Buttress. What's up?
Not much, man. Happy to. I say it every week, but I'm happy to be back again.
I'm happy to have you back. We're also joined by KBZ Kyler Barnett. What's up, homie?
I am so excited. I can't wait to talk about it.
Loki. Okay, let's talk Loki. This first episode titled Glorious Purpose. Perfect title, A. I want to hear, Joe, I'm going to save you for last. Kyler, give me your thoughts.
Man, again, I just love the complexity we're getting out of these Marvel shows emotionally. I think that's just first and foremost what sticks out. I think especially being one of the only live action series we're watching right now that's out, that's new. Live action just always brings that extra layer of emotion that, actors and actresses can really stunt and show their stuff. And God damn it, if Tom Hiddleston doesn't really fuck me up in this episode and break my heart. I mean, shit, should I be surprised? I guess not, but damn. Hit hard this episode. And I did love, I thought there was just the balance of just hilarity and funny moments versus just like, kind of intense, fun moments, and then just the moments that really grip you. I mean, and especially the moments stick out. They're obvious as like when you think of Loki's past, what they would be. So it's not that it's anything new, but goddamn, just seeing it in retrospect and watching him see things that he hasn't even realized because he's not from that. Ooh, man, we can really get into the layers of that shit.
Ooh, I'm excited. But what I also loved about this was the reframing of Loki's character all the way through the MCU. Like, before this, prior to this, all we think of 2012 Loki is he's a psychopath hell-bent on, getting his crown, becoming king. But it's like, now we're seeing he's always been this guy who's a little more layered. He's got a lot of thoughts of his own. Yeah, Kyler, you made a big fucking noise a second ago with that water bottle. It was funny.
Yeah, I almost have to mute that shit every time.
I almost could not hold it in, boys.
But no, I loved this. I loved this reframing of Loki in that era, and he sank right back into that too. I am Loki of Asgard.
Oh, I loved it. I was waiting for the Neil.
Yeah.
I just was waiting for it.
And I have been burdened with glorious purpose. And it's like, ugh.
The depth of that moment, too, later in the episode.
No, wow. That is the theme of the episode.
I know. We have to wait, but yes, absolutely.
That is the theme of the episode, and that's why the title, Glorious Purpose, is so perfect. Miles, how'd you feel about this first episode of Loki?
I mean, obviously loved it. Excellent first episode. I was going to say, kind of continue on the theme that you guys are going down. We watched Loki go through, I mean, when did the first Avengers movie come out?
2012.
We watched him go through 9 years of character development in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because he gets arrested, goes in, and sees his life. And then, obviously there's some, shenanigans along the way, and then he goes back and sees the rest of it, and just like him going through all of that emotion and character development, is he just like, fuck,
I think
this is really what was the sacred timeline for me, was to not be I wasn't a main character in my own life. I was a developmental character. The sole purpose of what I was to make characters be better versions of themselves.
I think another thing I love about it is, like, we've seen this before in Marvel shows too. We saw it with Bucky and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then you also saw it with Wanda and WandaVision. And I think every single time we see it, they show it and do a great job. Like, it's funny how they can take stuff we've already seen and add it in, but make it feel so entirely different because they give it a whole different context and emotional, like, impact, and that's just incredible. I love that balance.
Like, the best part about that is, like, the scene that I'm thinking about where you say that is obviously his mother and her dying. We obviously knew that he was sad about that because we've seen him react after her death before, but he obviously didn't get to see it happen. He just got told.
Well, I think in that moment also being told it's his fault. Oof, man.
Yeah. And that's him. That's the whole thing, is it's like, on his face. We're seeing something we've already seen before, but we're getting to see Loki's direct reaction to what's happening and what he's causing and how much he hates it.
And I also think that was a real cop-ass move by Mobius.
Oh,
and by no means do I think I like the character. I don't like him, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's all right. Like, it's a great character, but it's like, I don't know if you seem very mad manipulative. Like, that was
super manipulative, but that's what Loki needed at that time. Because if he doesn't do that there, Loki's gonna continue to have that sense of glorious purpose, and then eventually he's just gonna get, as I sent the message in, they keep saying that they prune them. He would just get pruned. And removed from the timeline, and then get reset.
The biggest thing about this show is that they are claiming that there is zero free will in the MCU, and we're just going along with it. I personally think the timekeepers are not real. The timekeepers aren't real. This sacred line is completely fake. It's a facade to keep people working.
So, okay, and I think
this world right now
could be doing some filthy
shit. This world right now, every single
did
one
y'all
of these,
see the propaganda all over the walls of the TVA?
I'm telling you that when I'm right, and that this whole world is a creation of the Reality Stone, which is going to tie in with Wanda and Chaos Magic. This is a complete Chaos Magic creation. It's infinitely long. There's people that only serve one purpose, and it's the same jobs.
I was with you until you were like, they're going to do what they did in WandaVision.
No, this is literally a creation of the Infinity Stone, of the Reality Stone. It's a creation of it. It's just, it's like, come on, man. Infinitely long, the same jobs that was in WandaVision. This just, simple task. They didn't know why they were doing it, but they were doing it. And there's all these infinitely long living people that have one job they do their whole life for all of time.
Hey,
what's up?
Stop the cap! Stop the cap!
I'm sorry that I'm just, I'm getting to the hard hitting questions first, boys.
I'm gonna throw you something here, Joe, and I think you'll like it. So, in this episode, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right to it. We're getting a lot of WandaVision vibes back at it. We got devil references.
Nexus
point.
Nexus is a big deal.
Nexus is a really big deal, and it makes me think that what happened there wasn't planned. That, like, Wanda might be wanted by the TVA at this moment. But what I'm thinking is that I completely lost my train of thought.
You're talking about devil references.
Devil references. We also got a mention of Nightmare, which I know we all love. And we were talking about this the whole fucking time throughout WandaVision. They were real good at illusions. And in this episode, Loki straight up goes, "I know what this is. It's an illusion." And obviously that was supposed to be a very powerful moment. And it was a very powerful moment when he's like, it's an illusion, a cruel whatever thing presented by the weak, to.
And then he's actually talking about himself.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, damn. Oh,
the only reason you know those words is just because you're describing yourself to a T. Ooh.
Ooh.
Pretty powerful.
So I want to kind of just, I don't have as in-depth of a scene by scene, but I still do have a general, and it's it's more than general, but less than what we usually do. Like there will be times in this episode where I went a little bit more second by second. You know what I'm saying?
Can I just start out by asking 2 questions? Because I just want to see where everyone stands.
Let me hear it.
Do you guys believe that the timekeepers are even real? Or do you believe that they are do you believe that they're real and they really are what they say? That they, this war happened and they were like, one timeline, here you guys go, we'll keep it all safe for you. Or do you think they're fake?
I don't believe it happened the way they said it did. And I think the TVA is supposed to be like an obvious representation of an oppressive, tyrannical sort of situation that tries to veil it like this is the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
There is some credence to it because we have seen this literal imagery of a broken timeline and, the sacred one from the sacred one. Or the ancient one, sorry.
Yeah, the ancient one.
Which was really cool. There is some validation behind this. Like maybe this is really how it works.
Absolutely. I have no doubt that might be valid. However, I don't believe that their goals are as pure as they say. I feel like we're going to get the twist people anticipated with Hayward's whole organization, Sword.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole they were fraudulent. I think the TVA is going to be more of that situation.
I don't think they're
seems like a hive mind.
I don't think as a whole they're going to be fraudulent. I think at the very least, the very top, they're going to be fraudulent. Because
I don't know. It seems like they are all running the same.
I refuse to believe they're going to have Owen Wilson be a bad guy.
No, it's not a bad guy. He's just a pawn in a very large.
No, and that's what I'm saying. He's a pawn to people who are doing bad things. He directly is not.
I believe that every single person's mind in the TVA is connected, and they're just running tasks to live lives. It seems they have this connected sense.
Then why would they be arguing about what they should do with Loki if they were connected?
To give life meaning
in privacy.
To give life meaning.
But if you're a hive mind, why do you need meaning?
Yeah, you don't argue with yourself.
It's like Rick and Morty. Rick dated that. Unity. It's just like Unity. Unity did useless stuff that she didn't need to do just for no reason. Because you're bored.
She didn't argue with herself.
Yeah,
she did.
I watched this episode 2 days ago. You can try. She didn't do that.
Yeah,
but she had people doing that had jobs.
She had people living their normal lives.
They had people living perfect lives. It wasn't normal. It was you literally didn't do anything else. So here's my thing: is that obviously I think you might be onto something in a way because obviously it's mystical.
My main point is that it's an illusion. This isn't real. That this is the sacred timeline or these timekeepers.
So you're telling me they're going to pull the same trope twice? I don't know how I buy that.
Yeah,
they're going to make all of Wanda's reality that we watched from the first 6 or 7 episodes turn into a freaking, facade. And then you're going to tell me it's if the
TVA was after Wanda, they would have been at her instantly though.
Yeah, but there's also they might not be after Wanda because this could be part of the sacred timeline if she was always supposed to do that.
What if she's one of the more high stakes variants? What if this Scarlet Witch shit wasn't supposed to happen?
Yeah.
But they would have been on her. They were on Loki instantly.
He's not a high stakes variant.
Yeah, but then the other Loki that is the high stakes variant, he's going everywhere and they can't find him, and he's just randomly, killing off their teams.
Do you think it really is Loki?
Oh, I don't have a clue.
I don't.
I think it'd be awesome if it was, but I don't think so.
I think it's not, because when Owen Wilson approaches the bench in the judge's court and he says, he's talking to her, trying to convince her why he should take Loki, he says, "I'm just following a hunch." Mm-hmm. I don't think he knows whether that's Loki. I think he's lying to him to get him to help him.
Yeah.
So is it Mephisto?
I won't go that far. I'm not doing it again. But
The devil gum? Like, what was that about? The devil gum.
That was weird. And it could be like a maybe it's like a forget-me-not sort of thing. You know, that stood out. Like, absolutely.
Didn't the kid give him devil gum? Like, he didn't give the kid devil gum.
No.
Yeah.
The kid got it. The kid had
Wilson
it.
said that devil bringing gifts or something.
No, because her teeth were blue.
Devil bearing gifts.
Yeah.
But the name was devil. It had some devilish.
No, it said kablooey.
Yeah, it was kablooey.
But
Owen Wilson wasn't reading anything. For some reason, he knew the devil came.
Or no, who gave that to you? And she pointed to the devil, and he was devil bearing gifts.
He said, "Who did this?" And she pointed to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it was just kind of supposed to be like a kind of write it off moment. I don't think it was perfectly executed. He just kind of knew this came from the devil. Like, it was just kind of, it wasn't even stated necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, are they literally just mentioning Mephisto, like, right here? Like,
maybe they're just trying to throw you specifically off, Joseph.
There's also the possibility.
I'm so worried. I can't bring myself to take like early ass episode, like little things they point at and shit, as like something that could turn into a big thing, because WandaVision fucked my head up.
You don't want to do WandaVision again?
WandaVision went the first like 2 episodes and threw a million different curveballs at us, and I swung through every single one of those motherfuckers just for it to like.
You were swinging at fastballs and they were throwing curveballs.
This is the pod.
No, Tyler, that is the only way to. No, I want to say that's like probably the only way to actually ever come up with anything like solid is by like keeping swinging. So I'm here for it.
Trust me, dude. I've struck out like 85 billion times. So.
Like, I can't bring myself.
You can't let the fear of striking out keep you from stepping up to the plate.
Yo, all right.
I'm a strikeout only kind of guy. I only get it's either I strike out or I hit a dinger. It's either I strike out, but when I make contact, it's out of there. That's me.
Tyler, since you're talking like this, I want to hear just first thoughts when you saw that scene with Kablooey. Where's your mind going?
Well, I want to know what's the significance of the blue in the teeth. Like, that was weird too. Like, that, I get it, Kablooey. Oh, I understand. But like, what is it and why?
Had the Essence of Nightshade vibe from season 2 of Game of Thrones with that guy on Karth. You remember the Warlock of Karth who drank that shit and it made his mouth blue?
Like, I don't know. Is there something eerie? Is there something to be afraid of there? Like, I don't know. I want to know more about that. I'm sure that's nothing we'll ever find out, but like, I want to know what the deal is there. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's like, you know, we got all, like, obviously, like, I saw the candy. My first thought went to, like,
it reminded me of
what was WandaVision's commercials about? I thought of, like, candy from that. And I was, like, trying to put stuff together. It wasn't anything there.
I was going to say, well, like, Kablooey, like, the missile that went into her apartment, you know, Kablooey. That's fucked up.
Rough.
I mean, the devil, like, she points at it, and like Owen Wilson's character like doesn't really dismiss that, so it's like, well, I guess we really got to start thinking about it a little bit, you know.
Or it's Loki posing as
like
the devil.
Okay,
because like in the 1500s, people would be afraid of the devil.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, in the 2000s, people would be afraid of if the devil just like woke up and walked.
That's a fair point. You say that like if the devil popped up right now, you wouldn't be like, all right, that's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah, Joseph would be over here like, that's fake.
I mean, that's kind of true though. Like, if he popped up in the middle of LA, they'd be like, oh, dude, you street performer, like, you want money? Like, and then like, oh, you're the real devil, fuck, and then dead.
You want to hear more? You want to hear more on Joseph and more of our beliefs? Go to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where we jumped into a deep discussion for a second.
Oh no!
It was in nature very, very, very healthy but argumentative. I feel like we generally got both our points across.
There was screaming.
The main topic of discussion was astrology.
I'm not a very sympathetic person. I'll say that.
God damn.
I'm generally not sympathetic, but I am for most things, but not beliefs for some reason. I don't know why.
He can't do it. He can't do it. And we express that on patreon.com/CoroBloom. But We open. I'm gonna jump into the scene by scene breakdown. Y'all ready?
Let's jump into it.
Sorry. Before you start, I did want to say, because Joseph asked the question earlier about what we thought was going on with all this, and I just wanted to give my answer of, I think it's real. I don't think it's going to be real by the end of it, because there's this whole time about the whole war between the multiverses. So I think by the end, the TVA is going to be gone, or at least, like weakened or something, and that's what's going to lead into the multiverse of madness. And then also, one of the timekeepers is Kang the Conqueror, and I think we're going to see potentially him trying to take over, and that's what leads to everything breaking down.
You're absolutely fucking right. One of the timekeepers was Kang the Conqueror, and he's confirmed to be a big bad.
And he's already confirmed to be in the MCU. Like he's already been casted as an actor, and he's the guy in the center, and on all of the like propaganda, it's the actor. Like on the sculptures and stuff. So I think it's going to lead into him either trying to take over, or the TVA getting like taken down, and him coming out as the only one left and trying to, be the big bad to try and take control of the multiverse on his own and trying to go out and conquer.
Do you think that is your claim that by the end of this series we will have met Kang the Conqueror? Do you think that's,
I think so, yes.
Feasible?
Yeah. Because I think this is going to lead into the multiverse of madness, since the whole thing in the propaganda videos was like there was a war between the multiverses and it almost ended all life. So the three timekeepers came together and created a sacred timeline, which I kind of meant not to be just like a single timeline, but a sacred multiverse that all timelines run, or that all multiverses run on the same timeline. And that's going to break down.
Do we think there's any chance? There's a chance this is all correct. The illusion and Kang the Conqueror. What if the illusion is there are three timekeepers?
And Kang is just running shit.
Kang's just running shit. Or the TVA doesn't worship any timekeepers. There are no timekeepers, but Kang the Conqueror is trying to disrupt time in a way through the Time Variance Agency. Like, what if he I don't know. Because, if there's a way to conquer the universe or the multiverse, it's to make your own sacred timeline. So it's like Kang the Conqueror, I could say, early formulations of a theory. Early. I'm just saying, if he's the Conqueror and you got the multiverse, a multiversal war being discussed, and Kang the Conqueror being one of the timekeepers, it would make sense if he's trying to come out on top of a multiversal war or something.
So you're saying...
I can't fucking... Sorry, Joseph. I can't fucking wait for 10 years from now, when all of this shit that we're talking about right now is ended up being hugely important for this fucking phase of the MCU. I can't fucking wait. It's gonna be fucking sick as shit.
Or 10 years from now, one of us is gonna be scrolling through Spotify and be like, you know what? I'm going to go back and listen to this episode and be like, man, we were fucking dumb.
I refused it.
We could not have been more wrong.
No. Look at what we did with WandaVision. We hit a lot of shit on WandaVision, and you guys killed it on fucking Bucky, Falcon, and Winter Soldier. So I'm just saying, we kind of do that. We're kind of like.
So you're saying
kind of good
that these three timekeepers or Kang the Conqueror wrote this story because at the end of the day, if everyone's life is predestined and things are supposed to happen,
I think you're kind of
it makes
interpreting
sense
it wrong.
That this 1 in 14 billion chance of winning, it makes sense if literal gods that can do anything they want, say, ooh, let's have them win. Because Loki brought the Avengers to the best version of themselves. We literally heard that said in this episode. Loki's purpose is to get the Avengers to where they're supposed to be to beat Thanos. Yeah. That is Loki's purpose. And the Avengers' purpose is to beat Thanos. Thanos' purpose is to lose to the Avengers.
Get fucked.
So, who decided that? If
I don't
it,
necessarily think they decided it, or sorry, they did decide it. What I don't think they just like wrote up a story and were like, this is what's happening. I think they took looked at all the different possible timelines and just chose one and decided this is the timeline we're running on.
You really think they just?
They probably chose one based had some decision making and weren't just like.
This could be a guy just playing God right now.
Whatever.
And just making up a story. This could just be a guy playing God.
It could be.
Or the TVA could actually just be like a complete farce. Like it clearly has an effect on time and can travel through time. But who's to say they're maintaining any actual timeline? Like they could just be fucking lying. Like Another big topic of conversation in the patreon.com/CoroBloom.
I think they are maintaining a timeline.
Because they do have that thing that tells them, it's almost at the red line, sir.
Yeah, I think they're maintaining a timeline. I think if anything, they are lying about why they're maintaining a timeline.
So we're talking about some Truman Show type shit right now, right?
Dude, can we just appreciate how beautiful the infinite world was whenever they looked out, outside, and just saw the infinite vast world?
It was the first time I felt like something was Star Wars in the MCU. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the biggest visual that the MCU has ever had, was right there. That's the biggest visual ever.
I mean, it's a glorious and beautiful scenery, and it was just like, it reminded me of Mandalore and its peak days in the Clone Wars meets Coruscant meets Naboo with all the gold and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, holy fucking shit, this is glorious. You want more Star Wars stuff? Visit the Bad Batch, bitches. Go ahead, Joe.
The line of Loki being like, I thought you said there's no magic here, and Owen Wilson was like, there isn't. I don't just the fact that they mentioned that, I don't know. It just makes me think it's a Reality Stone thing.
It could also be no, this is real. This isn't an illusion. This is to really make the awe and how impressive it is set in.
How though? How?
And that's the thing, is that it's. I hope it gets explained. That's far and away my big the TVA is a fucking mystery. It's just
yeah.
And I appreciate Loki being us in this situation, being like, so how the fuck have we never heard of you? How do you
what the fuck's going on?
So is Owen Wilson's character? Is his job to learn about Loki? Is that his eternal job?
No, his job is time detective.
So he's just a general detective. That's not Loki is not his specific task.
No, he is detective man that runs through and figures out what's going where time variance went and stuff like that. Loki is just a particular one that he decided, you know what? Let's have God of Mischief help me out.
Talk about DB Cooper. Just how cool that was.
That was pretty funny.
Dude, outstanding.
Heimdall and Thor, you better be ready.
And not only that it happened, but also it's now why'd you decide to do that? Listen, I lost a fucking bet.
Yeah.
Dude, not only lost a bet to the people he lost to, which means Thor was not below fucking with Earth, which is hilarious.
Oh yeah. Thor, he lost a bet to Thor.
He lost a bet to Thor and Heimdall. Even Heimdall back in the day was
and the fact that there was a point in at Asgard where Heimdall was just given free reign to let Loki and Thor make bets and go down and fuck with Earth, and Odin was like, "Thumbs up, dudes."
Well, you get a little bit of that spirit from Heimdall whenever he's like, "Would you betray and kill Loki and save Thor if you could?" And they were like, yeah, and he was like, good. All right, come on. Yeah, that's definitely what we're going to do.
Well, but I took that more of just I fucking hate Loki. And I feel like if they were like, hey, we want to go fuck with Earth some, he'd be like, hold on, let's ask a couple more questions. But I guess it does fall into, Loki saying, "Hey, I want to go fuck with Earth," and he's like, "Hold on, what are you doing?" And he goes, "Thor's making me do it." And he's like, "Nice, Thor."
Yeah, no matter what, Heimdall's a funny fucking guy in this situation. And frankly, I loved Heimdall all throughout the Thor franchise. But now, shall I just kind of run through this?
Yep. Let's
stop me where you will.
Yeah, we gotta go. Yeah.
So we open on that classic scene from Avengers Endgame where Loki gets the Tesseract, and it's all good and fun.
All right, stop.
We've seen this before, but then we see him get spit out in Mongolia, and I have a sneaking suspicion the shot was from the volume, is my guess.
Okay. I had something to say. That is awesome. I did not pick that up, but I think
it looks like it. Go back and look at it. It looks like it looks like the Mandalorian type scenery.
What I was gonna say was, did anybody else pick up on like the mimicking of like it looked just like Tony in Iron Man 1 when he falls out of the sky in the original in the Mark 1, and he's laying in the sand. You didn't see that when he was laying in the sand? They both laid there like the exact same way with like all that like debris off of him.
That I saw.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the literal way he fell.
I just meant just the imagery.
I was like, how did you pick that up? He was like so tiny on the screen.
Just like the imagery of him, in the ground, like was identical to me.
It brought back those vibes for sure. But also in Mongolia, we open on a little cockroach. I don't know. First appearance for Mephisto back in the day was he was a little cockroach. But
we already fell for this one too. Oh my god! This could just
be Marvel's way of saying "fuck you," to the super nerds. Like
the thing is they've had this done though. They didn't just insert this.
That's true, but a casual Marvel fan is gonna be like, "Oh, that's just a fucking cockroach."
Like, absolutely.
And that's I think I'm siding on the side of
this is
I'm siding with Kyler here. This is fucking this is Feige, right?
Think about it. We had a boner
Feige just being like, "Fuck you, hardcore Marvel fans. This is just a fucking cockroach."
He's playing the game. It's like a fuck you, but I appreciate you.
No. My dude Kevin be reading he's got burner after burner. He sees every motherfucking tweet, and this is how he gets back at us.
He's half of our listeners right now.
Where was this person? Where was this character? Feige,
Kevin Feige controls.
Guess what? He's gonna say,
actually,
"Fuck you! Watch what I'm about to do to you."
Kevin Feige is the timekeeper. Let's be real.
Factual.
This is his way of breaking it to the world.
Exactly, but
the last episode is just gonna be Kevin Feige and the fucking
three timekeepers. 1, Kevin Feige. 2, John Shatner, because this is the true day of reckoning. And 3,
you weren't going to go with the big 3. You weren't going to go Kevin Feige, Dave Filoni, and John Favreau.
No.
The 3 timekeepers.
Papa John Shatner.
You went with Papa John, which
Papa John Shatner.
The day of reckoning. I can side with.
What the fuck did I just?
Who's the last one?
I zoned out for a second because my.
Who's
dad
another one that fits?
What
in
did I
group?
just fucking listen to?
Who's another character? Danny DeVito will be revealed as the true
Tyler's
timekeeper.
over here wondering how the conversation devolved in 30 seconds
to
Papa
John. That man was sweating bullets in a Little League baseball polo on fucking
the
national
day of reckoning
television.
is coming.
Get him the fuck
we don't
out.
know when it's going to be. The day of reckoning.
The day of reckoning.
Fuck Papa John Shatner. Let's move on.
Fuck that guy to the
max.
Fuck that guy to the max. But like, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared of the day of reckoning? Like, I'm scared of what that man can do.
Yeah, listen, I don't care who it is.
He's going to cover the earth in pizza dough.
I don't care who it is. If anyone famous says the day of reckoning is coming, that's terrifying.
Motherfucker, Tom Cruise. Hey,
he will fill the ocean with Papa John's original pizza sauce.
Bro, Tom Cruise has been on the fucking crazy train since fucking forever, and that man has not, like, what? So what?
Every pond will be Papa John's special
Tom
garlic
Cruise has never
dip.
gone on TikTok announcing that the day of reckoning is coming.
Yo. Power move for my guy. He needed that
press. That man.
He needed to raise some funds. He needed his name.
All farmland will be seized to grow ingredients for Papa John.
Papa John's a variant. The TVA is looking for Papa John. Let's just say that. Let's say that the TVA is looking for Papa Jones.
All right.
Yeah, he's a fucking time variant.
So anyway, we were talking about Loki.
We were? When?
When that happened. Okay, so I'm gonna just get right back into it. He lands in Mongolia. The TVA comes. They pick him up, and we get this sick new look at some technology that makes him move in 1/16th speed, but he feels the pain in real time. And it's like, oh my fucking God, that's
epic.
Brutality.
Go ahead.
Did anyone else? Okay, I felt like this shit reminded me of like Tenet in a way, almost. Have any of you guys seen Tenet?
I've seen enough of it to know exactly what you're talking about.
Man, like this shit, like the way that it looked and just the like motion of it was super cool to me.
Oh,
it was super cool.
I completely I love the idea of it. How they're like, you move in 16th the speed, but you feel it all real time. Fucking hated his stupid fucking lip clapping the entire time. Like the first couple seconds of it, I was down for it, and then as it just continued on the entire scene, I was like, all right, his lips need to quit fucking smacking.
Miles is pressed.
Hot
Disney,
take, man.
watch out.
Hot
Disney,
take.
watch the fuck out.
Damn.
Oh god. But they set a reset charge. They set a reset charge, and here's another piece of technology that I think is a little more ominous than they want to tell us. I think anyone who witnessed this died just now.
Oh yeah, you don't think the ground turning like silver or whatever, and then turning it like calling it a reset charge? You don't think that's
Dude, it says
you don't think
charge.
that's
No, I actually do think exactly that. That's what I was saying.
No, I'm saying you don't think it's a cool
I'm sorry, I was just fucking with you.
Okay.
That's a delete button.
Yeah,
That thing is a delete button.
For that entire fucking timeline, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's not just deleting, like, anyone who was affected. It's like, this timeline.
Oh, it's deleting everything in this branch.
Yeah,
I thought it was like
they
radius.
I did too. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about I thought it was like the branch was growing, so they cut it off before it could get worse.
Like a zombie. Like you would like get
thing.
bit in the ankle and you cut your foot off. So you
it literally showed. It showed an infographic of what the reset charge does. It showed an infographic of what the reset charge does.
Joseph, where are you getting this shit from? You watching like supplemental content?
Dude, no. Like there was a timeline. It showed a reset charge be placed. The timeline was still continuing. Then the reset charge blew up, and the timeline faded away. It literally showed.
The way I interpreted that, though,
that event, that specific event was causing that. So when that event gets reset, everything in that area that wipes that, like that area was the hot spot that caused that branch. Essentially, you eliminate and reset that area, and eliminate everyone involved. That branch would fall off. That's what me and Colton are saying. But you're saying that whole timeline is. Smell ya? Wow.
I thought the point was that the timeline hadn't been fully set in yet. Therefore, the
thing is that there's only two ways that they can fix a branch off. One, get the variant that started it back in their place, and if they don't, they might as well blow it all up. Because if they blow up the timeline, they blow up the variant. The variant's gone. It's no longer exists.
So what you're saying is the second a variant shows up, that timeline is fully formed.
I'm with. No. It's being created. It's being created.
Okay, so my impression is that we are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying is that the reset charge, if they can't capture the variant and bring them back to the sacred timeline, they might as well blow the whole thing up.
So what he's saying, well,
it just makes logical sense for what they're trying to do.
Which actually, did we see?
I'm going to ask a question real quick. Do you think the reset charge goes all the way around the world and just destroys everything?
That entire timeline, that entire multiverse.
I get that you're saying that entire timeline. Are you saying every planet in this timeline?
Yeah.
So what you are saying is that a whole timeline fully formed.
Gone. Yeah. That's what a branch out is.
That's the question I asked earlier that you said no to.
Oh.
See, I think. Okay. See, I think I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
I think what Joseph is trying, where like a new timeline is fully formed, is that red line that they were talking about. Because they were talking about it's getting close to the red line. I think once it reaches that red line is where they say timeline done for, put a reset charge. Like not just prune them, it's put a reset charge, timeline done. Whereas in other cases where it hasn't fully formed yet, it's just, all right, prune these people that are affected by it, do a small reset, get the variant back in place, call it good, square.
I like where your head's at. However, I don't think the red line would be the red line unless they couldn't get rid of it.
No, maybe it's like cancer. If you catch it early, it's easy to just pick it out.
That's what I think.
The further along, you need to kill it all. And then
I think the red line is not we can't get rid of it. I think the red line is once it passes this, it can no longer be returned to the sacred timeline. This timeline needs to just be cut off in its entirety.
I think if it even reaches it for a second, like hell is breaking loose. Like they made it seem like if it even touches that red line,
but like is that something they're lying about though?
Probably.
See, we got all that from the very first scene. So
fuck, guys.
You know, Loki gave his whole "I am burdened with glorious purpose" speech, and that's the first little drop of that part. And next, we go to the TVA, and we see more cool tech that limits Loki's movement. This is called a time twister. It resets him to wherever he was a certain amount of time ago, depending on how long you set it. Apparently, that's the impression I get. And very soon after, Loki is put in an elevator where he is, trigger warning, sexually assaulted. Whatever, say what you will. His clothes were removed in a second, and he was not comfortable with it. Consent is needed. The TVA is evil. I'm not joking. He has to sign a waiver saying this is everything he has ever said. He says what? He has to sign another thing. He's like, this is absurd. Oh, now you got to sign that too. And I was trying to look at the little timestamp on this to see like, what time is it here? It's blurry. You can't see.
I found this scene so much funnier than I should have. When watching it, I was like, this scene should not be so funny to me. But as soon as they like said, as soon as he said, I need you to sign this. This is everything you've ever said. I was like, he's gonna fucking say something, and he's gonna have to sign something new. And he said it, and I was like, I fucking knew it, and this is great. And then he said something else, and I was like, this is such a great fucking scene.
I also love that the TVA has all of this technology, and this dude just has a printer and a pen.
They can track everything you've ever said, but it has to be printed. He has to turn around, wait for it to be printed out, and then hand it back to you for you to now sign this new copy.
You can't just like, I don't know, fucking like.
They don't have like digital, digital signage there.
Nothing there. I thought that was fucking funny, but wait. Then he has to pass. What's up?
So does that mean right now there's a room with a printer that's printing everything I'm saying?
It could.
Yes, so is that room only meant for Loki? There's only one line of paper. You know,
that's a good question. Is everything printed in that room just for Loki?
Like, think about this.
I would imagine
this TVA world is infinite. What if Loki's like he has a sector that is all for Loki?
But
I wouldn't imagine. He might have.
I think it's just we've seen how grand this fucking place is. Like it's not out of the realm to believe that he could have a floor or a wing or just like a pod or like even just a fucking one room office for that one.
But
Loki
it is
guy.
Infinite time, so it's like. That's a lot of room you got to make.
Yeah,
you got infinite of it though.
Do you? That's the question. We don't know where they are.
It's either all a simulation or fake, anyway. So it's probably not even real.
Well, it's CGI, Joe.
Well, okay.
I'm sorry, Joe. I just had to seize the opportunity I saw. I just had to seize the opportunity. But he goes to this metal detector that is actually a temporal aura detector, and he is told that if he's a robot, he'll be melted from the inside out. And he's like, "Well, how do I know? Like, do people not know if they're robots?" And I was like, oh, fuck. This just opened up a whole new world of anxieties for me.
But
is there
they
gonna be a
did
day?
mention the temporal aura again whenever they had an item that they were like, hey, scan the temporal aura on this. Kind of cool. What does it mean, though? What is it?
I'm guessing it's like to measure how
Correct.
far out of pocket you are.
Oh, I was thinking
So
it was
vibe
more of
check?
like.
Pretty
I was
much.
more of thinking like it
The
was
vibe
like
check.
like every single person has a different temporal aura.
Robots do not pass the vibe test. They actually disintegrate from the vibe test. Damn.
So, well, it did ask if he has what most cultures would call a soul. So
Yeah,
is it like,
I think it's like almost like an identifier, and so it's like go check to see like who fucked with this.
Wanda's not passing the vibe test right now. In her current
Wanda
state, the freaking
Wanda always passes the vibe test.
No, she's not looking.
She's too fine
Okay.
to not ever pass the vibe test.
She passes my vibe test, but she's not going to pass this one. It's going to be like black or red only. No
but
rainbow.
after he successfully makes it through the temporal aura detector, he is told to go through a door where he is told to take a ticket. The guy who he walked into the TVA with also was like, I'm not going to take a ticket. Fuck you. I'm not going to take a fucking ticket.
Little would he know.
Yeah, it cost him. It cost him big time. But along the way, he catches a video of Miss Minutes explaining what the TVA is. Also, did y'all see the first glimpses of the posters I actually paid attention to here, where a sign in the room says, behave or you'll get your clock cleaned.
Yeah.
Behavior will kill you. We
I mean,
will
it's pretty
literally
funny.
erase you from time.
I mean, listen, it's a funny threat.
And then another thing it says is everything here is being watched and recorded, which just goes into the whole TVA has access to everything ever.
Yeah.
And it's actually the MCU's cameras being pointed at everything. Therefore, everything we see is being watched by the TVA. But
Hi, TVA.
I took down every word of what Miss Minutes said because I thought this explanation of the TVA was important.
Before you go into that, did you guys also think that this was just Jurassic Park?
Yes, that's exactly what the Epcot. I thought Jurassic Park and Epcot. That's all I could think about.
This is the Jurassic Park. What's the
DNA? The DNA. What's his name?
Yeah, what's its name? It was some fucking cheesy ass.
Ted.
No,
Ted.
it's like
Norman.
a play on
Welcome
words. It's
to
like
the
a play on.
internet. Have a look around.
Was it just Mr. D? Oh,
Was
No.
it just Mr. DNA?
I think
No,
it was just. I think it was literally just
no,
Mr. DNA. It was just Mr. DNA.
I got. DNA by Kendrick Lamar.
I fucking
I'm going to
hate that.
continue.
I thought it was some cheesy fucking name, but it's literally just Mr. DNA.
Y'all can look up what the name of that guy from Jurassic Park is, though. Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm Miss Minutes, and it's my job to catch you up before you stand trial for your crimes. So let's not waste another minute. Settle in, sharpen your pencils, and check this out. Long ago, there was a vast multiversal war. Countless unique timelines battled each other for supremacy, nearly resulting in the total destruction of, well, everything. But then, the all-knowing timekeepers emerged, bringing peace by reorganizing the multiverse into a single timeline. The sacred timeline. Now, the timekeepers protect and preserve the proper flow of time for everyone and everything, but sometimes people like you veer off the path that the timekeepers created. We call those variants. Maybe you started an uprising or were just late for work. Whatever it was, stepping off your path created a nexus event, which, left unchecked, could branch off, leading to another multiversal war. But don't worry, to make sure that doesn't happen, the Timekeepers created the TVA and all of its incredible workers. The TVA has stepped in to fix your mistake and set time back on its predetermined path. Now that your actions have left you without a place on the timeline, you must stand trial for your offenses, so sit tight and we'll get you in front of a judge in no time. Just make sure you have your ticket and you'll be seen by in the next available attendant. So,
Could you imagine getting your whole existence erased because you were late for work?
Bro, imagine the confusion. Loki has no idea he's done something. Like, because he was just doing his thing.
Yeah.
He did what he thought was right in the moment, just thought like, this is what I should do. And that happened to be the wrong choice.
But it
And they
wasn't
were
even
like,
a choice
"God."
that was his fault. It was the fault of people who were meddling with time, apparently acceptably.
Which is so weird.
That's
like,
was it really his choice? Is it part of the sacred timeline that he becomes a variant? You know, like,
holy shit! Oh my god!
Is there really?
I hate it.
Is there really free will?
Well, I think that's the point of a variant, though, is that like that can't be part of the sacred timeline.
But maybe it's part of the sacred timeline because clearly Loki's not gonna die by the end of this. He's gonna get looped back into the MCU.
Did y'all watch the Legends? Did y'all watch the Marvel Legends Loki?
I did not.
The last thing in it is Loki talking to Thor, saying, "The sun will shine on us again, brother."
Oh, I love that line.
So
he's not
dying
ends
with him alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the impression I get.
Yeah, he's coming back into the sacred timeline. So that would mean part of the sacred timeline is them fucking up, creating Loki as a variant, him getting arrested, going on shenanigans with Owen Wilson, and then getting looped back in.
No, because I could totally see it. He does all this shit for Mobius, and then Mobius lets him back in. Like, that's the, like, hey, I'll sneak you in the back door, wink, wink, for your home. Tell me it doesn't make sense.
This is part of the sacred timeline.
I like the idea that this is actually part of the sacred timeline as a twist, a little. However, I think it would mostly leave us unfulfilled.
Oh, no, I hope that's not.
This is a lazy way to bring someone back. Then they could just do it to Natasha.
Not if it introduces the big.
They could just do it to any.
Stuff.
They could do it to any character. Black Widow could have a point in time where she didn't do the right thing, and boom, we're bringing her back. They could do it to anybody. If this is how they're just bringing Loki back. I hope he dies.
Yeah, but they could literally always bring anyone.
I hope he actually dies or doesn't make it past. You know, like when Thanos killed him, Loki's dead, gone forever.
You want Loki to be dead?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the case. We're watching Loki now.
Yeah, but who's to say he doesn't make it out of this?
That I think I like the idea. However, if the last time we saw him in Endgame he got killed, I don't think the next time we see him he gets killed again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What if his purpose in life has always been to bring the Avengers to the best possible versions of themselves? What if he is involved in bringing Wanda to the best possible version of herself? Because obviously she has not reached that point yet. She is way more. So
I hate it.
Maybe Loki brings the new Avengers to their best possible.
I fucking hate it because I want Loki to have his own story now.
Yeah, and
I don't want Loki to continue to be a side character in his own story.
Yeah, so not only what Miles just said, but also the fact that Wanda just totally earned this whole point of her learning and making this shit herself. Like learning how she is Scarlet Witch, learning the full extent of her powers. That's what we last saw her doing. It would be so unfair if Loki is the reason that, like, bro, she's figuring this shit out on her own. And, like, if that makes her take a little twist, I'm here for the ride. Like, let's fucking go. But, like, I don't want Loki to be like,
Loki.
Here, Wanda,
it's not Loki on Wanda's side. It's not Loki on Wanda's side.
No.
Loki's always been against the Avengers, and still he pushed them to be the better version of themselves. It doesn't have to be on Wanda's side.
Even if he's against or on her side, I don't want him, as I said, I don't want him to be in essence, a side character in his own story. I want Loki to be a main character for the first time.
That is his purpose.
Yeah,
a side character.
But that's what I want.
I think by the end of this, TVA is dispelled and this side character, main character bullshit is over.
Yeah, I think he no longer has a purpose. He can do what he wants with his life. Because he is a time variant, I think he then stays a time variant, but in the sacred timeline, and he now has his own purpose and can do what he wants, and his purpose is no longer to push the Avengers to defeat Thanos.
What if the fulfillment of this arc is Loki granting people free will? Caving this multiverse into madness.
That'd be not fucking bad since the start of his arc was Neil to
you don't
me.
determine shit for me.
Yeah. Well, no, not even that. I'm saying like with in the Avengers was Neil before me. I'm the only person that deserves free will. If you get the flip of that and saying, I've never had free will, now everyone has free will.
Can we talk more about Owen Wilson's
Aaron
hunch?
Paul in Westworld season 3.
Can we talk more about his hunch and like the interaction with the judge that seemed to be like a love interest or something going on between them two? There was something going on between them
Agent
two.
Mobius?
Yeah. There was something going on between them two.
You mean that I like looking up at you?
I think Agent Mobius is
Yeah,
just charming.
that's a weird that's a weird line.
No, I don't even think
I think he was
Agent
flirting
Mobius.
because he needed
I think-
something.
I think that's
but
just
anyways,
Wilson.
the more
Like
important
that's like
part,
some
the more
work wife
important part of that
shit. That's like
conversation,
some work wife shit.
the more important part of that conversation is I have a hunch, and then she returns with, "Yeah, I swear to God, if you're wrong, like it's on you." Like, what is this hunch that obviously they both know what his hunch, they both know what his hunch is, because she immediately is like, "Oh, dude, if you're wrong about this, like, it's on you. Like, I'm not part of this." Like, she knows.
Okay, so what you're saying is that they've talked about this one-on-one. Like, he's at least explained his theory to her before.
There's a hunch
and
that he
that
has.
would indicate
Yeah.
to you that they have a personal relationship.
Something like that. But the more important thing that I don't give a crap about the personal relationship that they have. I give a crap about the hunch that he has and what that hunch is. What is the hunch that he is feeling that he needs Loki for?
That Loki is is the variant
Yeah.
they're chasing. I don't think he knows it's Loki that they're chasing. I think he.
So how
suspects
is there
it's Loki.
multiple? How is there another Loki? Like,
So this was
Maybe.
something I was going to wait to talk about until later. While looking up something else, I found that potentially they could be writing in Miss Loki, and there could be a fucking romance between Loki and Miss Loki.
is that like incest, but on a whole nother level?
I don't fucking know, because apparently
Is that just
there
jacking
were
off?
Is it
pictures.
just narcissism?
Is that just masturbation?
Apparently, there were pictures of some actress in what looked like Loki's outfit on set.
Well, it's
Been hinted that he'll run into different versions of himself, which would be wild if he runs into Miss
that's
Loki.
the indication with all the different fonts they use for the spelling of Loki. The way they change it up, it's supposed to be like you're going to see a bunch of Loki.
Okay, so then
But the impression I get is that we have to get to the multiversal flip for that to happen. Like I don't think that happens until the multiverse hits like a crisis mode.
Maybe Loki is just like a common time variant. Maybe Loki just is like a super common like timeline. His time like timelines involving him frequently break down, and so they deal with Loki a lot, and so he's like maybe there are a bunch of super high target time variants running around that are Loki.
I think if Mobius was being straight up and like if he was right in saying that they're chasing Loki, they would have shown us Loki in that final scene. Like I think there's obviously
they wouldn't have made it a mysterious.
No, they did
figure.
show it. What are you talking about? That was clearly Loki. They said it was him. Why would they lie to us?
Well, yeah, true. Why would they? I mean, just believe what the TVA wants you to. But I think a Miss Loki twist would be interesting. I'd almost prefer that it's someone else and Miss Loki gets tied in some other way. Although I don't know. I mean, obviously, if they do it, they'll do it well.
It wouldn't be hot to see Loki and Miss Loki together.
It probably has to be someone. It's either Loki or someone related to Loki. Like, why would they need Loki specifically to help with this variant? So it's probably someone close to Loki.
I mean, as a god of mischief, the god of mischief, what if it's like the opposite of that? Like the demon of such things.
Oh,
the demon of following, of being nice and following rules.
I don't know. Just a thought, but I don't know. And after this, Loki finds that the whole Miss Minutes thing that she just spilled is like bullshit. He's like, this is dumb. Fuck this. And then the other guy gets absolutely evaporated because he didn't have a ticket. It's like, oh yeah, he's gone forever.
Melting stick from fucking Ragnarok.
Yeah. It's a prune stick.
No, but it looks.
I asked that guy for a ticket. I asked him.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Didn't anybody think that was weird? Because did he? He didn't ask.
He didn't ask for one. He blew the other guy off.
Yeah, he was like, fuck you, I'm not taking a ticket. And then he gets there and they're like, where's your ticket? And he's like, what? I asked him for a ticket and he told me no.
Yeah,
he was being a piece.
He's just an asshole.
But after that, we get the title card, and we're in France in 1549, where Agent Mobius is on a TVA investigation, where we learn there's been 6 attacks on the TVA in the last week that they know of. A child bursts into the church, and Mobius, befriends and investigates, and we see more cool 3D tech from the TVA, which I thought was nice and fun. But the child points to the devil on the window when asked who did this. And Agent Mobius says, that devil's scared of us. I thought that was like a fun little reassuring Owen Wilson line. And he asks about the blue in her teeth, and she hands him this kablooey candy. And he says, devil-bearing gifts. It's like, I don't know. We've already talked about that a little bit. I'm still flustered.
I don't know if he necessarily thinks he's saying. I don't know if it's him saying like devil. I think he just means like whoever came, is like. But still, like the fact that he was like, I don't know, he didn't do much.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not even convinced it's an actual devil. Like it's.
No, I know, but like he didn't do much to convince her it wasn't though. Like she pointed at that thing, and he didn't do like anything. Like
he was like, oh yeah, okay.
No, he's like, devil bringing gifts. She's probably like, this is really the devil.
She's probably like, that's kind of fucking ominous. But she hands him the kablooey, and Mobius asks. Mobius asks to get it analyzed, the temporal aura, and someone chimes in that they won't get anything back. And we also learn that the branch that's been created is reaching a red line. And I get the impression that this is the multiversal war line that they depicted in the cartoon a second ago.
I'm down.
And so he sets a reset charge, and they burn whatever the fuck was here. And they said Mobius is informed of Loki's apprehension and now being tried. And when we're back with Loki being tried for his case, he says he's guilty of plenty, but not a crime against the sacred timeline. And I thought that was important because of what I said earlier. Like he just thought he was going about his fucking business, and they were like, actually, you really fucked up.
Right. There was no motivation behind what he was doing, like crooked.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
he felt like somebody. He was
when they are doing something.
A ball was dropped into his lap, and he was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna play with this ball," and it was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get my life taken away from me."
But he accuses the Avengers here.
I mean, hey, I don't blame him at this point. I'd be throwing everybody under the bus at this point.
And he was right though. Like that was funny. Like in the 2 seconds of what he saw in Endgame, he put together everything. He was like. He was like literally sniffing out their time travel plot. He regards, you can smell 2 Tony Starks, their cologne. He says, but what he suspects they time traveled for was to prevent his ascension to God King. So it's still 2012 Loki in there at this point. He's like, yeah, I suspect that I won, and they didn't like that.
Oh.
And it's just like, poor Loki, you don't know yet. She explains that what they did was supposed to happen, and him escaping wasn't. And I was like, this is so weird. Like, obviously, like, maybe, like, Doctor Strange really was looking at the one sacred timeline when he found the one out of 14 million, Like, I don't know. It's also weird. I don't know what it all means. What does he mean, man?
Can you think about how fucking deep it was?
No.
No. Think about how deep it was. It felt that they were going with like Endgame and the time travel, and like seeing like these characters in the same like parts of like other movies we'd already seen that are old as fuck. Think about how deep and like that felt, and like all of the ramifications of what they were doing, and how careful they had to be about it, and how like deep that felt. And now just from between WandaVision and this first fucking episode of Loki, how much larger and more extravagant it feels.
Yeah,
it was so, like they caused so much more shit. How did they up it?
Yeah, how did they up it?
Yeah, they said we're going from like time travel where normal people are doing it and we're trying to be careful to fuck it, we're doing whatever the fuck we want.
Bro, like at this point, like the jokes people make, like you know how people make jokes about like shit, like, oh, and then like, you know, the time travel and they go back and they correct everything and then the aliens come in and then like, you know, people make those jokes about like these movies like the DC and like all they try to like dismiss them and say like, oh, well, I just can't handle it, like there's just too much going on. Like, I don't want to deal with all that going on. And it's like, it's not that bad. And now, like, I'm sitting here talking about it. I'm like, yo, it's kind of getting that bad. But, like, it makes sense to me. So I fucking ride with it.
Yeah, I fucking love this shit, bro. But, you know, Loki proposes to speak to to timekeepers himself, God to God. And she's like, they're busy. And he's like, doing what? Keeping time. And she's like, so what do you do? He's like, so what do you do? And she's like, well, I keep time when they tell me to keep time. And he says, fuck it. I plead guilty of this. And then totally just fails to use his magic. And, you know, he's told here, that shit won't work here. That's not gonna fly. You ain't gonna be able to use shit. So, like, everything you've ever known is about to change.
Yo, Thor would hate this place.
Oh, he would hate this place.
How do they have that ability, though, to do that?
It's so weird. I know.
That's what I
Reality Stone-esque.
Oh,
no. Well, the Reality Stone is a built-in. I think that gets lazy. You know, it's a built-in cop-out. It's like it was created by the Reality Stone because the Reality Stone can create anything.
No, someone used the Reality Stone to create it. Not
that doesn't exactly like elevate it anymore to me. Like
someone did this.
I believe someone may have did this. I just think that if we come back to the Reality Stone, it's like then we're also dealing with another time traveler.
I think the point of I can't imagine. No, Joseph, it can't be Reality Stone because they just talked about how insignificant the stones are in this shit, basically. They are so fucking minute.
Well, wouldn't they? I'm with Joseph here. Wouldn't they try to downplay the significance of the stones if the stones was what was causing it?
No, why would the TVA lie to us?
Yeah, I'm with Miles.
The thing is, even if they knew it was the stones, they're just creatures that were created to do their job. That's what they are. They even said like they were created by the timekeepers.
Why do their job? Eat that meat. That's their job.
And they're okay with that. They're okay with that.
So the TVA is pretty much like, do your job and do things exactly the way we say forever. You probably won't get paid because this is your purpose, at least not paid well. And if you step out of line, guess what? You're erased.
Yo, the social lives of those poor workers must be just like...
I mean, working constantly. It's like 80 hours a week. But
it's rough out here.
It's rough out here. It is rough out here. But he says he gets sentenced to be reset. And he's grabbed by the guards and he says they won't dictate how his story ends. And the judge says, it's not your story, Mr. Laffy's son. It never was. And it's like, fuck.
That hits hard, bro.
I mean, it's basically like that's you had no free will.
Bro, my man's Loki was just chilling at like 3:00 in New York, and all of a sudden now he's standing in front of this man telling him like, bro, this ain't your story, bro. Like, we ran this shit.
Was just fucking up New York 3 hours ago.
Literally, bro. Now the shit, like, come on. He's had a day and a half, bro. Get him the fuck.
He's had a fucking day.
When he said it's been a long day, it's been a long day for him.
Well, and who knows how the time and fucking...
Bro, my man was literally traveling through 1/16 speed. Like, yeah, it is a long day. Like, literally.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot. But Mobius stands up and chats with the judge like we were talking about, and he takes Loki just right on out of there, and he shows him the glorious world of the TVA. And it is glorious, like we talked about at the beginning. It's just beautiful. But questions: how? Where? Why? Who? We need all of these things. But Loki states that this is a nightmare. And Moby tells him, that's another department. I was like, come on, not again. Don't just drop that word in there like it's light. You saw what it did.
They want to fuck with us so bad.
And that this right here is why the whole cockroach thing earlier, I'm very much of the opinion that they're throwing after the reaction to WandaVision, I feel like they recorded some of these scenes as like, well, maybe we could tease some stuff. And I feel like they were just like, let's throw them all in, even though we're not going to be teasing anything, just to fuck with all the people who think they know what's going on.
No, Kevin Feige's a genius. This is just another one of his fuck yous.
Yeah.
Because a casual fan, think about what a casual fan would hear. Nightmare, oh, that's a different department. They're thinking about nightmares like that, like a nightmare that you have when you're sleeping. Like, they're thinking of a legitimate nightmare.
But, like, how does the TVA have any sort of association with nightmares in any capacity?
The TVA is basically
what kind of Monsters Inc. bullshit is this?
The TVA is omnipotent.
Joseph, shut the fuck up.
They are.
They know all.
I'm not.
That's omniscient.
Literally, it's
omnipotent is all powerful.
They're omniscient. They're omniscient. They are omniscient. They're all knowing.
Yeah, they're not omnipotent. They're not.
They are all knowing, or they can be. They have access to be.
The timekeepers are omniscient to an extent,
but the TVA are the timekeepers. They're an extension.
Well, actually, no. They're not really. They're not omniscient though, because they don't. They know what's supposed to happen. They don't know what's going to happen with the time variance.
But if it doesn't happen, what's supposed to happen is what happens.
No, but the time variance and stuff. So like the Lokis, the fake Loki that at the end of the episode, those things, the people that they're hunting, they don't know what's happening with them, because otherwise they would just send a team out and wipe them out immediately. So they're omniscient in regards to the sacred timeline, but not in regards to time variance.
What if there's some more credence to Joseph's claim earlier about Loki having a whole department and Nightmare literally being another department?
Dude, this sounds like Big Mouth. What's the place called in Big Mouth where all the fucking hormone monsters fucking congregate?
The thing is, that world is infinite. When you have infinite space, you can have as big of a sector as you want per person. Infinity is real big.
Colton, I can get behind that he didn't mean it as like there's another like organization dedicated to Nightmare, but it's just like there's a sector in TVA that goes over the person Nightmare.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
All right.
That was
Big Mouth was mentioned.
So I need you to stop it with these voices. You're gonna.
I love you, so
Andrew.
Oh my gosh. That was
Andrew.
Okay, no, too breathy. That one was not that good.
Oh, dude, I don't know. It's so hard. Imagine having to do that for a whole session. My boobs.
I don't know how like characters. I don't know how like Nick Kroll and like John. What's Family Guy? Seth MacFarlane. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how they fucking can lock in like all of those voices and do it in like the same like
seamlessly for an extended period of time.
But like they have to record episodes, so like, you know, like you're gonna be bouncing off of just yourself.
D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know everyone, so yeah, show love to some other people too. Like, yeah, I mean, dude.
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker of the Bad Batch. So if you want to hear us talk about the Bad Batch,
yeah, absolutely.
Bad Batch bitches. We're covering this weekly. Same as Loki, but I'm a hop back in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We have. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, it's no worries at all. But in the elevator, Mobius introduces himself, and him and Loki go back and forth for a moment, and he explains that time passes differently in the TVA, and confirms all of Loki's questions. And Loki comes at them for playing God. Ironically, this coming from 2012 Loki. He says that them doing this at the behest of 3 space lizards is not only funny but absurd.
True.
It is. It is indeed. But they get to this interrogation room called the Time Theater, which I thought was a fucking dope name for it. And Loki asks if they've existed all this time. How has he never heard of them? And Mobius tells him, he was staying within his sacred path. It's all good when you're in the sacred path. And he's setting up some more new tech that we haven't seen before. And Loki's like, but all my decisions are my own. There is no path set for me. And Mobius is like, yeah, keep fucking telling yourself that.
God damn it. I hate it. I don't like that. Don't.
No, that's the thing, is that like this dude is very confident in what he's talking about. Like at least the TVA is so thorough with their propaganda that they've convinced everybody here.
Yeah.
That's what makes me think it's
well,
not
they
a
created them, so I guess I hope so. I hope they have them all convinced. Oh,
yeah,
God.
no shit.
We have a real Finn opportunity here. A real Finn type character. We got
To just fumble the bag potentially.
Well, like just someone break out of the. These people have been like created to do this job, and then there's just one character that would be like, "No, I don't want to do it anymore."
Yeah, I think we might be getting into some Westworld season 1 territory where there's been like a TVA employee might break out of his loop a little bit.
Or what is that one? What's that series of books that they made into Maze Runner and shit?
Oh yeah,
like all that stuff like that. This is kind of the vibe.
It's all like, and that's the thing, is that when you're dealing with time travel, it automatically feels like everything you've ever done that's ever done time travel. So it's like you take from all these things being like, well, what if they go this route or this one or that one,
and all of them sound believable.
What if they're just like in the 5th dimension, but it's like giving it a view that Loki could understand, like in Interstellar sort of thing.
I was about to say like Interstellar.
Makes sense why it's infinite. There's no magic. It's
a pocket dimension.
Yeah. Created just for you. Infinitely large.
That would be. It's a title of your sex tape. But Loki, he comes to sit with Mobius after Mobius has just bitched him a little bit, and Loki tries to sneak up on Mobius, and it fails. He puts him back in his spot, and I like the way that Owen Wilson's all playful about everything. He's like, haha, nice try. But Loki sits with him as he explains that he pursues, Mobius explains that he pursues dangerous variants and not pussycats like him. And I like that this whole time, like, Mobius is just like chipping away at him, like that's all he's doing.
Oh yeah, because it's like it's under the radar. Loki can't tell that he's playing games with him, but then oh man, and
it's a lot like what Wanda did. Is that like his own fucking perception of himself is so muddled that it's like someone telling him all these things, it's gonna fuck with his head.
Yep.
Like he's gonna start being like, well, maybe he's right. Like maybe I am a fucking monster.
Yep.
Damn.
And he shows him a bunch of stuff that would indicate, yeah, Loki is kind of a fucking monster, at least sometimes.
Well,
that when he rips that dude's eye out, that's the one for me.
Yeah,
that smile.
Like, I remember watching that in theaters and being like,
can't excuse that one.
Yeah, that's a rough one for sure. And he explains that if Loki answers his questions honestly, he might be able to get them out of here. And he asked that if you were to get out of here, what would he do? And, Loki's like, well, I'd just keep doing what I was doing. I'd become the king, God King. And Mobius presses him a little. He's like, oh, king of space? Space is big. That'd be a nice little feather in your cap. Loki's like, don't mock me. He's like, oh, I promise. I'm not mocking, bro. I'm not mocking. I'm a fucking fan. I'm just wondering why. Why? Someone with so much range, so much sexiness in him would just want to rule.
The line of, if looks could kill. I was like,
oh, dude. Mobius wants Loki a little bit.
Yeah,
Loki wants Loki
a little bit. Yeah,
Loki wants Loki, but it's a. I don't know. I liked the vibe here. But he just keeps peppering him, and Loki again states that the most impressive lie and the most oppressive lie is the song of freedom. Choice breeds shame, uncertainty, and regret. A fork at every road, the wrong path always taken. And I was like, see, this is like, and in this moment, it felt like he was lying. Like, to me, it felt like he was lying through his teeth, not only to this guy, but to himself. Like, he was kind of like, this whole time he's been like, my choice is on my own. And then like, he got to this point where he kind of realized like, fuck.
Yeah.
like, damn.
No, I mean, that's got to be a harsh realization, man. Like, that's going to cut. Like, that's going to hurt.
It is, but Mobius turns on the projector. It shows Loki's greatest hits, and we see events from Avengers like, Phil Coulson dying. And they're sticking with this movie and Disney Plus wise, that Phil Coulson actually died here, even though he's the main character in 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's just they just keep ignoring that. It's impeccable.
Yeah, that always rubs me the wrong way.
Well, I think they're willing to like kind of recognize like the first like 2, maybe 3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but after that,
wild.
It gets fucking wacky.
Maybe
and like
that
where
is variant Poulsen.
It gets fucking wacky.
No, they do a lot with time travel.
Fucking multiverse travel.
It's wild.
Which is why
it gets like, it's actually really fucking enjoyable as a Marvel fan, knowing it actually doesn't have any impact on anything.
Yeah, which is
they're never going to acknowledge it.
Yeah, which is why I said they might get to the point where they might acknowledge like a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then they're
that's the thing,
very
is
quickly
that they won't,
like,
because they're gonna somehow eventually tie in Inhumans again, and just make that be like, no, this is canon now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why they would like acknowledge the first like season or 2 where it was just dealing with Hydra.
True.
Before they got into Inhumans and time travel and the multiverse and the fucking Darkhold and all that shit.
Through all this footage of him killing Coulson and such, Mobius is just like trying to convince him, you're a fucking monster. You like killing, don't you? You enjoy doing all this. Look at the way you're smiling as you rip this guy's eye out. Like, it's like, you really like what you're doing here. You like torturing people. And Loki's like, don't tell me things. Don't because he doesn't want to say, no, I'm not, because he's still trying to maintain this facade he's put up.
Right.
He can't be wrong he can't be wrong about what he's believed. Patreon.com/CoroBloom. But we then see the iconic D.B. Cooper moment.
Oh man.
And I know Kyler was just erect.
So like D.B. Cooper has been something that has been fresh in my head for as long as I can remember, because growing up, there's a movie called Without a Paddle with Matthew Dillard he plays Shaggy, and Dak Shepard,
and like Seth Green or something like that, right?
I think so. Is that the short guy? He's also in
short redhead.
Yeah, he's in Scooby-Doo 2, I think.
Yeah, I think he is.
Dude, also banger movie, Scooby-Doo 2. Check that out if you haven't. Big advocate.
Scrappy
James
Doo?
Gunn involved in that fucking movie. Did you know that?
Of course he is.
James Gunn was either producer or director of fucking Scooby-Doo 2.
I couldn't tell.
So far beside the point. Okay. Fuck. That movie talks about D.B. Cooper. That's like the whole premise of this movie, of like this trip, and like they end up stumbling upon D.B. Cooper's money, and like that's the whole premise of this shit. And that just always was so cool to me, was the D.B. Cooper part. And there was like tons of parts for like an adolescent boy to find way cooler than just the D.B. Cooper thing. But it was the D.B. Cooper thing. And like, and then like I got older, and like I all of a sudden stumbled across BuzzFeed Unsolved, and they had a DB Cooper episode, and just all of this stuff I've seen.
Have you seen Lemmy Know's so cool. DB Cooper video? You know Lemmy Know?
I do not.
Oh my god. Lemmy Know You will watch all of his videos tonight. If you watch his DB Cooper video, you will watch every single video. I'm sending you his top 3 right now. You will watch them, and then you will be hooked on the rest of his channel.
Joseph, listen, I got a real thing with being told exactly what to do, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna do it.
All right, I'll send you his channel. You can watch whatever videos you want.
No, I'm just fucking with you. The way you just said it, you will watch them and you will report.
Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
He's a goated YouTuber. Goated.
I make my own decisions. They're my decisions. I have free will.
Exactly. We then see the iconic DB Cooper moment here, where Loki threatened a whole plane with a bomb and got away with a ton of money, which just ended up all over the ocean before being pulled away from the Bifrost after losing a bet with Heimdall and Thor. And you could tell Loki isn't proud of this one. This is the one that made him go.
Well, this felt very
bringing this into it.
Yeah, but this felt very let's get help, that kind of moment for him. This is humiliating. He's no, I don't fuck with this.
Well, it is interesting though, because I thought it would be something Loki would like.
Well, because he's at the center of attention for this moment, but I don't think he Loki the butt of the joke.
If Loki had been the one. If Loki had been the one to come up with this idea, I think he would have been down for it. But because he was being forced to do it because he lost a bet, I think he fucking hated it.
Okay, that makes a ton more sense to me then. But he's like, so this, where were you when I was doing all this? And he was like, we were surfing that sacred path, baby. He's like, that DB Cooper thing, that had the timekeeper seal of approval.
What?
And Mobius tells him not to think about it so much as approval and disapproval, and then he drifts off.
Basically saying, you don't have free will. He's everything is pointing towards that. Literally. It is written.
That's what he's trying to convince him anyway. He's like, it's not approval or disapproval. It just is or isn't. That's...
Man, that's a hard line to know how to toe. Okay, so I gotta walk on eggshells, or I just gotta hope and pray that if I go and act out on a whim that doesn't come around and draw your fucking ire.
Pretty much.
Yep.
All right. Well,
what would even make you have the thought to go off your sacred timeline for something as simple as being late to work? How is that possibly not part of the plan?
Because you were supposed to be on time to work that day.
How did it not happen though? For something so small, Loki going away with the Tesseract, huge thing. But how does someone on such a small scale have such a small thought that results in him being completely so my impression is that this happens a lot. A lot of people get reset.
Probably, but I feel like a lot of them are small things oh, you showed up to work, 5 minutes late. So it's didn't cause a huge disturbance. We'll go ahead and do a quick minor reset. And then there's the bad ones where it's oh, you stole the fucking Tesseract. Let's just knock this whole timeline out.
I don't know. I guess we'll learn more. But Mobius says he just wants a deeper understanding of the god of mischief. And Loki ignores, saying he knows what this place is. An illusion, a cruel, elaborate trick conjured by the weak to inspire fear. A desperate attempt at control. And it's
yo, okay,
bro, you're just spitting facts about yourself right now.
Has anybody else noticed that this is Loki having Thor's experience on Xandar? That this is essentially it. Loki got to live large on fucking Xandar, and now he's getting the Thor experience.
Well, he's experiencing a lot of what Thor experienced, including the lack of powers that Thor experienced at the beginning of the first movie. And I think that's that might be part of the point here is that he's
following Thor's arc a little bit and to see how he
gaining a little sympathy maybe.
Yeah, and he also I think it'd be interesting to see how he handles it versus how Thor handled it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are...
Well, it seemed in this situation Loki was just Thor is all about that brute wow, fuck, give it back to me. He's But Loki was actually like actively looking for, and obviously he was in a situation that would warrant him actually looking for ways to escape,
Right.
being in a prison and all, not just being on Earth. But it is interesting. It is interesting. But he says his choices are his own, and Mobius pushes forward, showing him perhaps his worst choices. He's like, okay, cool. So you say your choices are your own. How about you take a look-see at this? And, it includes him pointing the Dark Elves in his mother's direction, thinking he was sending them towards Thor, and it got his mother killed. And Loki doesn't really believe what he sees, as he hasn't lived it yet. He's like, this is bullshit. Stop what you're doing. Like, where do you have her? And it kind of makes him believe more and more, and then she dies, and he's completely in denial. He's like, well, fuck this. This can't be real then. You have to be hiding her. And Mobius tells him, we know everything, how it's supposed to be. And it happens, I like this wording too, this feels important. It happens again and again and again. So we're talking a loop?
The things that are meant to like happen will always happen.
It's happening again and again to the people who travel through time differently.
So it's just
gotcha.
whatever.
Like, it doesn't happen again.
In a loop.
Yeah.
But because they have this view of time.
That's just how they experience time.
Gotcha. Okay. But he says it's not because it's how it's supposed to be. It's because it's how it has to be. And again, that's just an example of how either the TVA has driven this message into those that they've created, or it's the way of things. We don't know yet. But Mobius's accusations of him enjoying killing rattle him, and a comment about his mom pushes him over the edge, and Loki charges, and the Time Twister does its thing again, puts him back in his spot. Mobius tells Loki he was put on this earth not to be a king, but to cause pain, death, and suffering. It was all so that others can achieve their best versions of themselves, as the iconic shot of the Avengers in that first movie shows itself. And I was like, gosh, it's going to be interesting watching that movie with the frame of reference. This is how it was meant to be, and Loki was supposed to fail. Like, it's like, and I mean, like, I didn't watch it not that way, but like, knowing that is interesting. Like, it's like, all of this was so that they could propel themselves, and that's it. I thought that was interesting. But Loki asks what this place is. And right at this time, Mobius is asked out of the room by one of the hunters, the one that brought Loki in. And in the hall, that hunter confronts Mobius, says that talking to the variant is a mistake. He should be reset. Mobius is like, you want everything to be reset. Come on. And she then breaks the news that they've lost another unit. And he goes back into the theater to find no Loki, who has stole his Time Twister. And I was like, okay, fuck yeah. Loki's got some fight in him. Let's get it. And in the search for Loki, Mobius and the hunter still argue, and Mobius makes the case that Loki can still help them. We then see Loki follow Casey into this room where he confronts him and tells him that he will gut him like a fish if he does not give him the Tesseract. And Casey's like, I don't know what a fish is.
So many memes. So many memes. Already.
Did y'all recognize this guy from anything we've talked about on this podcast?
Oh, God.
He is in season 1, episode 4 of The Mandalorian Sanctuary. He chases down Din Djarin and asks him to come to his village to help.
Wow.
He does look, I thought he looked really familiar, but I did not know where from, and that's
insane.
Makes a lot of sense.
So we've got a Marvel Star Wars crossover here.
I'm going to sleep well tonight, knowing that.
Hell yeah. But he's like, I don't know what a fish is, and Loki's like, how do you not know what a fucking fish is? And he's like, I just want to know what I'm being threatened with if I'm going to comply here. He's like, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to kill you in a very violent and painful way. And he's like, okay, fine. And Casey opens his desk. He hands him the Tesseract. And Loki's like so relieved. And then he looks in the drawer and he sees several Infinity Stones multiple of each Infinity Stone.
Only grabs the Time Stone. You think he'd grab all of them? You think he just grabbed the tray?
I think he only grabbed the Tesseract as like instinct because it's the big one and the one that he was there for.
No, the Time Stone though. He reached for because he was like contemplating what this place
and
is.
I think he only picked up the one because he was. I was thinking about something else, but I think he only picked up the one because he was contemplating like, man, these are fucking worthless in the grand scheme of things, and that's why he only picked up the one. As he was just like, fuck. This makes everything I've ever done and worked for seem fucking pointless.
And he looks at it and he's like, how do you have these? And he's like, oh, we get these all the time. Some of the guys use them as paperweights.
Ouch.
And it's like, oh my fucking God. And you just got Gamora, Black Widow, Vision, just all these people rolling over in their grave. And he steps away, looks to all the people in the office, and then to the depiction of the sacred timeline, and the music that is swelling here is fucking gorgeous. This soundtrack is going to be a masterpiece. This is phenomenal.
Oh, I saw a lot of this on Twitter too, where a lot of people talked about the score.
It's fucking perfect. And he looks at the timeline and he asks, is this the greatest power in the universe? Like this is officially like, this is what has convinced him. This thing he's pursued that is now just being kept in a desk. He's like,
as a
okay.
Fucking paperweight.
Yeah. He's like, okay, this is all bullshit. I gotta do something. And the Hunter runs in, swings on him. Loki time twists himself back to the time theater. And, when he's back in there, he decides that he's going to view his own life. He sees interactions with Thor leading to them working side by side, and it starts moving him like, fuck, like, damn, like I'm supposed to, like I do end up being good. Like, right. Like Thor's like, maybe you're not so bad after all, brother. And he's like, maybe I'm not. And I was like, fuck.
Because you know what happens, and then you have to watch him watch it, and oh, fuck.
Oh, dude, and that sequencing of like them watching their dad die. That being the first thing that breaks him.
Yeah, but like the thing you have to understand is like that's also what's so crazy about that is like we're watching that sequence and recognizing it as being like, ooh, fuck. Dude, he experienced that like back to back to back, like rapid fire. Like that is horrendous thing about how tragic all of these characters, Wanda, fucking everybody's got it like that. Bucky, everybody's got it. And goddamn, makes you feel for him so bad.
It really does. And he sees his father die. He sees him and Thor come together. And then, as it starts to hit like a relatively happy place, the music cuts off. And watching Loki realize he's about to die was one of the one of the most like goosebumps inducing scenes of the entire
And that's just what Thanos does, man. He brings the goosebumps.
The way he stood up and was like, and immediately was like, oh, I'm fucked. Like I die here. and then like, and he kept that slightest doubt for the whole time. He was like, up until the very last moment, he was like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? And then he heard and he went, like he just like looked away, like it was like the most like, and it would be the most traumatizing thing to see, how you die.
Yeah, that's
especially if it is getting choked out and your neck snapped. Like, and then not only after that, to look back up and see flames engulf your brother who is mourning your loss. He doesn't get any more of that.
Yeah.
Does he think Thor's dead now? Like, does he think that's where Thor dies as well? Like, there's all of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, what's so funny is that this is 2012 Loki, so like him processing like all of this stuff that's happened to him in like his main life, like him processing like, oh my God, like while I may have just been beefing with my brother, like look at like he's still understanding that like that relationship meant so much to him even then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what this whole scene did for Loki. Like, because no matter what, obviously he underwent all of this whole journey he went through in 10 years in 1 second, or not 1 second, but like, a montage here. However, that doesn't just flip a person instantly. This man already obviously was being conflicted. Like it was already him being like, yeah, I don't think I actually am the way I am because of wanting to. It's like I feel like I have to do this.
Right.
I don't know. It's just all really heavy for him in this moment to realize, has it meant anything? Did I never have a choice? Just all this stuff. It's just insane to think about. But Loki laughs when it ends. And the hunter makes her way in. She asks what's funny. And he stares. Glorious purpose. And he was just like, it's all a fucking joke.
Yep.
There is no purpose. That doesn't exist. Like that's his conclusion here. He's like, it doesn't mean anything. None of it. And Loki tries to fight and is beat at first, but he turns it on her, disarms disarms temporal collar, and starts time twisting.
This was cruel, man. I don't know. This was like, this could have been left out.
Well,
I don't know. This was just cruel. Just the overplaying it, like just back and forth, just freaking like, it's just like torture.
I liked it because I took it less as like him torturing her, but more of him like taking his frustration out of it.
It was funny.
Heartbreak. Well, it was funny, but it was also like it was him taking out the frustration and everything else of what he just went through, getting his entire character development in 20 minutes.
Can you imagine being teleported 500 times a second? Like,
it'd be pretty fucking brutal.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, that'd be plenty. That certainly would be plenty. But he's like, stop it, stop it. And then he finally makes her go away into the hall. And he takes a seat, overwhelmed by everything he's just learned. And Mobius enters saying there's nowhere left to run. And Loki realizes, I can't go back. Like, that's not an option for me. I'm realizing that I'm done. And he explains that he doesn't enjoy hurting people. And he struggles to continue. I don't enjoy it. I do it because I have to, because I had to. It's part of the illusion, a cruel, elaborate trick conjured by the weak, pointing to himself to inspire fear. He explains he's realized even an Infinity Stone is useless here, and concludes that the TVA is formidable. Mobius is like, yeah, that's been my experience. And Mobius says, he can't offer him salvation, but he can offer him something better. And I was like, what? He never made that offer. I was like, what
really can you offer?
What do you think you're offering here? Him a chance to hunt down somebody? Oh, good job.
Yeah.
Some more time being alive and not getting reset.
Salvation, literally the most pure thing that everyone hopes for. I can one up that.
I can give you a little more time alive.
A second chance, Joseph. He can offer him a second chance.
Not so much a second chance, though.
Okay, he can offer
Unless
him...
he does put him back in the timeline. Like, that's the only way this promise is fulfilled.
He can offer him a continuation of the life that he just saw. Post-in-game.
God damn. Do you think that's how this concludes? He willingly goes back to his place?
I don't think he goes back to his place. I think he goes to like post his character's death, so he can get tied back into in the MCU and like continue being a character. Because otherwise, the character is dead, and I don't think anyone wants that to happen.
Well, I think ultimately it'll be the fact that he'll be working with the TVA all throughout this, and in the end, he'll be like, "Fuck you, one last time. I'm out."
I mean, yeah.
Guess what? I'm free.
No, that's what I'm convinced, and I can't wait to see that. Oh my god, he's gonna sell it so hard. 2012 Loki, dude, he's gonna fucking.
But wouldn't that be crazy if they were just like, "Fuck every bit of character development you've seen in the first 5 episodes. I'm out. I'm returning to being God King." Like, wouldn't that be fucking fun?
Returning to God King Loki.
You've taught me that I only have one purpose, and I might as well go for it. And then,
yeah, exactly. I might as well go for it. But after he says they need his help hunting a variant, and he's like, Who? You. It's like, what? I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Not yet, anyway. I need to see it. Because we cut to this field in Salina, Oklahoma, in the year 1858. And we see Minutemen pop up here, hunters, and they find that some asshole has found himself a time machine, came back in time and tried to drill for oil to get rich.
What year? 1848?
1858.
58. In Salina, Oklahoma. What happened?
Obviously oil. If you could be the first person to tap oil in the central United States, it's a pretty big deal.
No. They thought that the person came back here for the oil, but it was really just the person was going to kill them with it.
With it, yeah, because she lights it on fire. Or they light it on fire.
Interesting.
Well, I was going with the Miss Loki thing.
Okay, tell me you couldn't see it, though. If Loki wants to be God King and he does say, fuck you, would it not make sense for that fuck you to come in the sense of, like, if he's going to become listen. If he's going to become God King, he's going to have to figure out how he's going to do that. Well, if you're going to go back in time, it's got to start somewhere. Like, you got to find ways to gain money, gain the power to be the God King of this shit. And if that means being the first oil tycoon in the middle of America, that's one way to do it. And if you go back to, I don't know. If you could go back and just start hitting licks on everything, dude, you don't need to stop at fucking being the king of America. You could be the fucking world leader, dude. Fuck.
Absolutely. But it would be interesting if we are seeing sort of a time loop thing with this Loki. This is a Loki who potentially returned to a timeline and came back to wreak havoc on the TVA. Maybe it's a past variant of Loki. Like, has this happened before with Loki? Like, it's just a lot. I don't know.
The only thing that happened in Salina, Oklahoma around this time was right before the beginning of the American Civil War. But what would that have to do with this variant, and why? Like, why is that the time?
I think it was just a place and a time for them to go to.
So you think this variant's just hopping?
Yeah.
Just hopping.
I think causing random things wherever they can.
How are they hopping?
Couldn't tell you.
I think the whole 1858 Salina, Oklahoma was to get that scene of the oil on the ground, and then they can say it was someone just coming back to be the first person to tap some oil, and then the evil Loki lights it all up, and then the fire engulfs them and all that stuff. I think they started with that scene and then thought, all right, what would be a setting that this could happen in?
That's fair.
Not necessarily they stuck with some historical event.
Yeah.
We see that person standing in the distance, light them, set them ablaze, and watch them burn, and it's like, oh. So this person's like a murderer.
Yeah, like they're really into the thick of it.
But are they really murdering people, though? They're murdering infinite beings that are like...
Bro.
It is interesting. It is an interesting thought. Like,
they're still people, though.
But, are they?
I mean, even if they're immortal, they're still people.
But are they?
Yes.
You could argue that if they are immortal, it's even more immoral to kill them.
No.
Bro, this is like what's the character in X-Men that got killed that literally his whole thing is he doesn't die?
Oh yeah, the one in First Class.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, dude?
But that's where we cut to black on a shot of this hooded figure silhouetted by the fire. And
it's Agatha all along.
Can you imagine if it's Agatha Harkness again? That'd be outstanding. But any thoughts that we haven't mentioned on this hooded figure?
Ultron.
Who it could be? Ultron.
I don't think it's Ultron.
Gotta throw him in there.
I had to
throw him in there.
I had to linger it out there.
Gotta throw him. White Vision.
Ooh, hey, we haven't seen him.
Dude, what if it's White Vision? Whoa!
Haven't seen him.
I just threw that out there as a joke.
Okay,
now you're liking it.
Kind of liking it.
I'm kind of
You go
liking
with the safe pick here that it's Lady Loki.
Let me go with the safe pick, Hayward, who is actually Ultron. Let me go with the safe pick here. Come on.
Save.
There we are. There's the joke. There's the
It's
joke.
Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
I
This
love
is the
that
introduction of Ghost Rider.
Joseph started out the episode saying some theory and saying, "I have never been wrong before. I am always right."
No,
and ends up by
no.
saying it's Hayward as Ultron.
The words are, when I'm right, and I know I'm right.
The thing is, I know what's going to happen, obviously. You guys know this about me. But I have to sprinkle in a lot of wrong things so that I don't just speak truth the whole time. That'd be too easy. And you guys would catch, it'd be too much for your heads to wrap around.
Oh my goodness.
Well, naturally. We'll cap it off on that note with Timekeeper Joe going on and on. This was Loki's Losers, Penny Bloom podcast, baby 105th episode. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you, and I hope I didn't make any audience member feel less impactful than they are, because in reality, we're not very impactful.
We all matter. Thank you, Miles Buttress.
Man, thank you, Colton. Thank you. I'll be back anytime.
Anytime, Miles.
Next week even, maybe.
That's a first timer right there. That's the first time we've ever flipped it around, baby.
I don't think that was very sacred. I don't know.
This timeline's getting reset.
Picked up by a time bear.
This timeline's getting reset. Damn, right before my outro. Fuck, that's tough.
Thank you, KBZ, Kyler Barnett.
Absolutely, I love to be here, baby. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Again, this was the Penny Bloom podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Penny Bloom Pod, on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. Head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find a riveting about 25 to 30 minute discussion at the front of this episode. I actually think I'm going to head to bed after this. No outro.
Yeah, no facts.
But
need that.
This was a pleasure. This was a pleasure, gentlemen. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, download, leave 5 stars. That's the only way the show grows, besides you literally showing us to someone else. So we'd appreciate you doing that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Takes 2 seconds. Keanu Reeves even
It's not difficult.
Keanu Reeves left a freaking review on our pod, guys. Get it together.
Christmas Eve. It was a Christmas miracle. But remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise that man, Keanu Reeves, the timekeeper.
God.